All right, everyone, buckle up. We're about to take a deep dive into some pretty fascinating territory today.
This is exciting.
It is. It is. We're going to be exploring, well, potential evidence,
Okay.
of extraterrestrial life.
Right.
Specifically, we're going to be focusing on a photograph um, taken at a Loran station
Oh.
on Jan Mayen Island in Norway.
Oh, Rand Station.
Yeah, and this picture is from around 1960.
Hmm.
Now, I know some people might not know what a Loran station is.
Yeah.
So just a real quick explanation.
Yeah.
Loran stands for Long Range Radio Navigation. And it was a system that was used before we had GPS,
Oh, okay.
mainly to help ships and aircraft navigate.
Interesting.
So this particular photo comes to us from Roger.
Okay.
He's a pretty prominent figure in the UFO community. He's based out of Kansas City. And he's been analyzing this photo, actually, for his Secret Alien Island video.
Secret Alien Island.
Yeah.
Catchy title.
Yeah, well, he seems to be pretty convinced that it's packed with evidence of extraterrestrials. And he especially believes that there's a lot of activity happening around these Loran stations.
Okay.
And he even goes so far as to suggest that governments might be in on it, aware of this activity.
Wow, that's a bold claim.
It is. It is. So we thought, well, why don't we examine his findings?
Okay, yeah, let's see.
See what we can uncover, right?
Absolutely.
So, okay, just taking a look at the image itself. It's black and white, a little grainy.
I imagine.
Yeah, which,
Typical for back then.
exactly, typical of photos from that era. But there are a few areas that Roger highlights that he finds particularly compelling. He points out these figures,
Okay.
and he describes them as aliens with really big heads.
Aliens with really big heads.
I know.
Okay.
And one of them, he even says, resembles a Mardi Gras guy, like sunglasses, the whole 9 yards.
I see. So he's seeing these figures and interpreting them as aliens based on their appearance, particularly the large heads.
Yeah,
And even drawing comparisons to pop culture figures.
exactly.
Interesting.
Yeah, and there's more. He also identifies what he believes is like an elongated vessel
Okay.
with people inside.
Mhm.
And then there's this other figure that he describes as like a bossy alien.
A bossy alien.
Yeah, like directing these people.
I got you.
And then there's also like a cross-shaped object that he points out.
Okay, so we've got aliens with big heads, a Mardi Gras guy, an elongated vessel, a bossy alien giving orders,
Yeah, basically.
and a mysterious cross-shaped object. A lot to unpack here.
I know, right? But I don't know, it's just so interesting how he sees like a figure that reminds him of a Mardi Gras guy. It kind of shows how,
Yes, it does.
how pop culture imagery can shape our perception of what we think aliens might look like.
Absolutely. I mean, it makes sense. We're constantly bombarded with these images, these portrayals of
Yeah.
aliens in movies and TV shows, even in books, It's only natural that those images would seep into our subconscious and influence how we interpret the unknown, especially when we're looking at something as ambiguous as a grainy black and white photograph.
That's a great point. I mean, scientists call this pareidolia,
Right.
which is basically like our brain's tendency to find patterns even in random data.
Exactly. It's why we see faces in clouds or animals in rock formations.
Yeah, exactly. But I guess the question is, how do we differentiate between, our imagination and genuine evidence?
Mm.
What other factors should we consider when we're looking at photos like this? I mean,
That's the key question, right? Because while pareidolia is certainly a factor, it can't be the only lens through which we analyze this photo. We need to consider the context.
yeah,
What was the purpose of the photo? Were there any known events happening at that Loran station at the time the photo was taken? Could there be more mundane explanations for the shapes Roger's identifying?
okay, so we need to look at the bigger picture.
Precisely. A more critical, I'd say a more skeptical eye is necessary,
Okay, yeah. And then, of course, there's that other big claim that Roger makes, that whole connection between governments and Loran stations
Right.
in relation to extraterrestrial activity.
And that's where things get really interesting, don't they? Because, you have some UFO enthusiasts who theorize that these Loran stations, with their powerful electromagnetic emissions,
Mhm.
could be inadvertently attracting extraterrestrial attention
Hmm.
or even be used for communication.
Oh, wow.
It's a fascinating hypothesis, absolutely.
Yeah.
But it's important to remember it's just that. It's a hypothesis. We need solid evidence to support it, not just speculation.
Right. Right. So, okay, let's kind of recap here. We've got this intriguing photo, right,
Mm.
with some details that are, let's say, open to interpretation.
Open to interpretations, putting it mildly.
Yeah, maybe.
Yes, I agree.
We talked about pareidolia
Right.
and how it can, play tricks on our minds. And then we delved into that potential connection between governments, Loran stations, and extraterrestrial activity,
Yeah.
which, it's unproven, but it's definitely something that makes you think.
It does. It highlights the importance of critical thinking when we're encountering these extraordinary claims.
Absolutely. Couldn't agree more. And I think that kind of brings us to our final thought for everyone today. And it's this.
Okay.
If you were investigating potential alien activity,
Hmm.
what kind of evidence, what would convince you, what would make you shift from skepticism to belief?
That is a great question. Something to ponder for sure.
It is. It is. It's food for thought. And on that note, we'll wrap up this deep dive for today. Be sure to join us next time for another fascinating exploration. Until then, keep looking up.
I will.
All right, see you next time.
See ya. Bye.
Bye.